In this video, we're diving into the exact moment Joe Rogan realized his entire existence might just be lines of code in a cosmic computer program. When leading artificial intelligence expert Dr. Roman Yampolskiy sat down with Joe, he didn't just talk about the future of tech. He laid out a terrifyingly logical theorem. If humans are on the verge of creating hyper-realistic virtual reality and conscious AI, how do we know someone else hasn't already done it to us?
The simulation theory, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're also one of the people that believes in it.
I do.
You do. How do you define it? And what do you think it is? What do you think is going on?
So I'm trying to see technology we have today and project the trends forward. I did it with AI. Let's do it with virtual reality. We are at the point where we can create very believable, realistic virtual environments. Maybe the haptics are still not there, but in many ways, visually, sound-wise, it's getting there. Eventually, I think most people agree we'll have same resolution as our physics. We're also getting close to creating intelligent agents. Some people argue they are conscious already or will be conscious. If you just take those two technologies and you project it forward and you think they will be affordable one day, a normal person like me or you can run thousands, billions of simulations. Then those intelligent agents, possibly conscious ones, will most likely be in one of those virtual worlds, not in the real world. In fact, I can, again, causally place you in one. I can commit right now to run billion simulations of this exact interview.
Mm-hmm.
So the chances are you're probably in one of those.
But is that logical? Because if this technology exists, and if we're dealing with superintelligence, so if we're dealing with AI, and AI eventually achieves superintelligence, why would it want to create virtual reality for us and our consciousness to exist in? It seems like a tremendous waste of resources just to fascinate and confuse these territorial apes with nuclear weapons. Like, why would we do that?
So a few points. One, we don't know what resources are outside the simulation. This could be like a cell phone level of compute. It's not a big deal for them outside of our simulation. So we don't know if it's really expensive or trivial for them to run this.
Right.
Also, we don't know what they are doing this for. Is it entertainment? Is it scientific experimentation? Is it marketing? Maybe somebody managed to control them and trying to figure out what Starbucks coffee sells best, and they need to run Earth-size simulation to see what sells best. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to do AI research safely and make sure nobody creates dangerous superintelligence. So they're running many simulations of the most interesting moment ever. Think about this decade, right? It's not interesting like we invented fire or wheel, kind of big invention, but not a meta-invention. We're about to invent intelligence and virtual worlds, godlike inventions. We're here. There's a good chance that's not just random.
Right, but isn't it also a good chance that it hasn't been done yet? And isn't it a good chance that what we're seeing now is that the potential for this to exist is inevitable? That there will one day, if you can develop a technology, and we most certainly will be able to, if you look at where we are right now in 2025 and you scale forward 50, 60 years, there will be one day a virtual simulation of this reality that's indistinguishable from reality. So how would we know if we're in it? This is the big question, right? But also, isn't it possible that it has to be invented one day, but hasn't yet?
It's also possible, but then we find ourselves in this very unique moment where it's not invented yet, but we're about to invent all this technology. It is a possibility, absolutely,
right.
But just statistically, I think it's much less. And I'm trying to bring up this thought experiment with creating this moment on purpose in the future to pre-commitments.
Mm-hmm.
Half the people think it's the dumbest argument in the world. Half of them go, it's brilliant. Obviously, we are in one. So I'll let you decide.
Yeah. I feel like if virtual reality does exist, there has to be a moment where it doesn't exist and then it's invented. Why wouldn't we assume that we're in that moment, especially if we look at the scaling forward of technology from MS-DOS to, user interfaces of like Apple, and then what we're at now with quantum computing and these sort of discussions. Isn't it more obvious that we can trace back the beginning of these things, and we can see that we're in the process of this, that we're not in a simulation, we're in the process of eventually creating one?
So you zoomed out 30 years.
Yes.
Zoom out 15 billion years. You have a multiverse where this process took place billions of times. You are simulation within simulation, many levels over. And to you, even if this was a simulation of those 30 years, it would look exactly like that. You would see where it started. It wouldn't be magically showing up out of nowhere.
Right. So if you're playing the game, in the game you have Newton and Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and
at least you have memories of those things,
right,
even if you started with preloaded memory state.
Right. You have Stalin, you have all these problematic human beings and all the different reasons why we've had to do certain things and initiate world conflicts. Then you've had the contrarians that talk and say, actually, that's not what happened. This is what really happened. And it makes it even more confusing and myopic. And then you get to the point where two people, allegedly, like you and I, are sitting across from each other on a table made out of wood, but maybe not really.
It would feel like wood to you either way.
Is it possible that that's just the nature of the universe itself?
There are some arguments about kind of self-sustaining simulations where no one's running them externally, just the nature, but I honestly don't fully comprehend how that would happen.
Yeah, the holographic universe and the concepts of human consciousness has to interact with something for it to exist in the first place.
That's one. Also, if you have infinite universe, then everything possible happens anyway, but it's boring. I don't like this argument.
Why don't you like that's boring? Why
everything happens. There is I give you a book which has every conceivable sentence in it, and would you read it? It's a lot of garbage you have to go through to find anything interesting.
Well, is it just that we're so limited cognitively? Because we do have a history, at least in this simulation, we do have a history of, there was a gentleman that, see if you could find this, they traced this guy, they found 9,000-year-old DNA, and they traced this 9,000-year-old DNA to a guy that's living right now. I believe it's in England.
Mm-hmm. I remember reading that.
Yeah, which is really fascinating. So 9,000 years ago, his ancestor lived, and so we have this limitation of our genetics. 9,000 years ago, wherever this guy lived, it's probably a hunter and gatherer, probably very limited language, very limited skills in terms of making shelter, and who knows if even he knew how to make fire.